real estate agents, welcome to the Weekly Closer. I'm your host, Jeff Underwood, along with my co-host, Joey Sampaga. And he is the man with the plan. How's it going today, Joey?
I'm doing pretty good, and you?
Yeah, you are?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm looking good, too.
Not going there. Not going there. A guest is shaking his head, too. No. Hey, we've got an absolutely awesome guest with us today, right?
We do.
Surfer dude, right?
Surfer.
Oh, that's right. So, Jonas Funston, team lead for the Epic Phoenix Group, Venture Real Estate and Investments. Welcome to the studio.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Don't forget Desert Surfer.
Desert dwelling surfer.
There we go.
You got it.
So that just tells me that you live here, but you love to go surf.
I do. Yeah. Okay. I grew up in San Diego, and been surfing ever since I was 13. We lived just inland enough in Vista where it was trying to convince my mom to drive me to the beach was a tough sell. So
yeah.
But yeah, that was the challenge moving out here was my wife trying to pry me away from living by the beach. So my prerequisite requirement was we house hunt in July, because if I couldn't handle it for a week in July, I couldn't live here.
Yeah.
And pool and hot tub mandatory. And then the last pool we just built, kind of recreated a little ocean environment and try to peel away and do any surf trips as often as I can.
Sure.
So can you move away from Arizona now? I mean, I was a California. I grew up in California myself, but I lived here most of my life, and I can't move out of Arizona.
You know what? Everybody, a lot of my friends, especially when we moved out here, and even when I talk to clients nowadays, they, when I, tell them where I'm from, they think I'm crazy for moving out here.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of aspects we miss. Obviously, the ocean tremendously. We've got friends and family still out there. Moderate climate, that's all great. But with 100% truth and sincerity, I tell people, the quality of life out here is,
absolutely,
irreplaceable in my opinion. You know what I mean? As far as the opportunities, from a entrepreneur business standpoint, we live in Chandler, so the schools and just the areas and just the amount of growth and opportunity we've seen here. And I love the summer, to be honest with you. I mean, when it hits that 115, it gets a little under the skin. Tail end of summer, gets a little annoying, but we take our trips in and get out. And a lot of pool time and pools, air conditioning, and margaritas. I tell people that's how we get through it. So
do you get to use any surfer lingo anymore?
Yeah, I never really had the surfer lingo. I was never really a Spicoli or anything like that. So but
awesome.
There you go.
There we go. All right. Well, why don't we go ahead and introduce how long you've been in the business and kind of what got you into real estate? How about that?
Yeah. So I've been in the business for just over 13 years now. In my previous life, I was in hospitality. So started out in working for the Four Seasons Resort. Worked for another resort called La Costa Resort in Carlsbad. These are 4-star, 4-diamond hotels, resorts.
Yeah.
And so I had a lot of customer service background and certain level of expectations as far as service for customers and that sort of thing. And then how loosely got into real estate was when my daughter was born, we decided we wanted to take the plunge, and at 23 bought my first property in San Diego, and went from having a $950 rent payment, which at the time was astronomical, even though now it's twice that, to almost $1,800 a month mortgage, because it's like a lot of younger buyers scraping nickels and dimes together for a purchase. So back then you could do an 80-20 loan. Of course, got closing cost assistance. So basically came in with nothing, rubbing nickels and dimes together to purchase it. But so my side hustle was doing mobile notary. A neighbor of mine, his dad had a business and kind of introduced me to that, and going out and signing loan documents and reverse mortgages and that sort of thing with clients. Make $250, $300 a pop. Kind of side hustle to offset my newfound mortgage expense.
Sure.
And part of doing that, I just didn't want to be the notary sitting there kind of hey, I'm just here to watch your signature and that sort of thing. So I started ripping the documents apart and kind of learning, asking a lot of questions, and learning what I could about that, and just kind of sparked my interest. And then during our purchase and sale process with the townhome that we bought, I was, I guess, vastly underwhelmed by the experience. You know, it was $230,000 purchase for us, which at the time was a lot of money.
Yeah.
And especially when the rates were a lot higher, back then. And so for the realtor we worked with, it was probably a lower end deal for him in San Diego. So basically just kind of walking through the process blind as a first time home buyer, which is scary when you don't know a whole lot, right? And then the sales process, obviously decided to go with a different agent, and she was better. But I think I just had higher expectations kind of coming from my background. And so I just, at that time had the interest in real estate, but we decided we're moving to Arizona. So decided I was going to wait to get here and take the plunge and get my license, and knew that I could, run laps around, the other realtors. So
we've had several guests on, haven't we? That's kind of a trend with a lot of our guests on here, is that they've
got bad service and they thought they could do better.
Get into the business based on an experience they had as a buyer.
Exactly.
That's crazy, man. Yeah. That's I guess there's 40,000 of us out there.
I was going to say, we think we're really special, but not so much.
We're 40,000 special.
Yeah, 40,000 special, exactly.
All right. So tell us a little bit about your business then. Mm-hmm. You mentioned that you've brought a new person on board, right?
Did.
That's a client concierge. So tell us a little bit about that.
So I basically just needed some additional hands. Obviously in real estate, once you kind of reach a certain capacity, obviously there's only so much time in the day. We can't clone ourselves, so you kind of come to a point where you got to make some decisions on hires. Whether that's a buyer's agent or listing agent or transaction coordinator. So I just needed some additional help. On the customer service end has always been important to me. Just kind of the client experience and calls and emails and busy stuff like that. That's non-transaction related. So a friend of mine's wife was looking to for a job. She had been mother recently and kind of wanted to get back into the plunge. So did an interview with her, and I was extremely impressed. So hired her, basically just kind of be more of an admin role and just kind of help me out. And when she was she's just great on the phone, and she's strong with people, and so we decided to experiment with a new position. And I don't know if I coined the phrase, but we're calling her a client concierge. We started with a buyer concierge, but now we're calling her a client concierge. And it's a licensed position, but she's just kind of that extra touch, for reaching out to clients, and it's a great icebreaker for new clients if we haven't worked with them before, because not being a realtor and starting that conversation, right? They drop their guard and they just really open up to her, and it just makes it a lot easier to kind of volley back and forth when I need to get involved.
All right. So you've been in hospitality world, right? I'm thinking. So does she have like the full green light? Like Ritz-Carlton gives every employee, the full green light to take care and make sure everybody has that experience, right?
Yeah. She, it's more, phone and internet, but we've actually had her meet some of the clients. Like we're working some relocation leads right now, and they. Especially the women. They literally just want to become a friend. You know what I mean? They want to come out and grab coffee with her, grab lunch with her.
Sure.
So I'm literally integrating her in the initial consult meetings when we finally get the clients out here. Yeah. And so she's making friends while she's closing deals. So it's great.
You may have her do. Joey and I have talked about this too. Maybe have her send a video message to the wife.
Yeah, that's actually
So they can make that connection, right?
That is a great idea.
There's a couple services out there that make it very easy to send it.
Yep, absolutely.
Anyway, might be just another way to make
tool.
Yeah. Solidify the relationship.
Absolutely.
A little bit more. No, that's really cool. Now you've also been working a lot of relocation business, right?
Yeah, we started ramping up on that. I don't want to say stumbled into it, but just kind of noticing the market trends. Phoenix has always been a transplant market, but we just have more and more people moving here. People are getting priced out of other markets.
Absolutely.
A lot of California, minus behind Canada a couple of years ago is always the number one relocation market for us, and we get people coming in from Chicago and New York and just cold, miserable climates and want to change their lifestyle and better opportunities. So kind of noticed an uptick in clients, whether it's sign call or internet leads or Zillow or what have you, with more and more out-of-state buyers and clients, and then kind of working some, different relo sources, some different relo lists and that sort of thing. So we're trying to carve out a little niche, nothing unique there. Obviously, there's other people working the the relocation market, but I think it's just going to keep gaining momentum and get stronger and stronger. So if you're an agent out there and you're not implementing that as part of your your business now, you really should shift gears and put some focus in that.
Yeah, I was just reading an article the other day. Yeah. I think as far as California is concerned, Arizona, Nevada, and Texas are the three big states that all of them are kind of moving to. Right. So are you seeing a lot of these relocation clients? Are you seeing a lot of them coming in with cash? Are they just buying cash now based on?
A lot of them are cash. Okay. I mean, a lot of them are cash. Obviously, finance deals too, but a lot of cash buyers, particularly in markets where where they have a ton of equity in properties or snowbirds or soon to be snowbirds. We're getting a lot of people that are buying the second homes and I call them quasi vacation homes because they're using them kind of as second homes, but obviously with Airbnb and VRBO pretty popular these days. A lot of our clients are buying properties that aren't quite retirement age yet, or maybe they've got kids off in high school that are going to be graduating in a couple of years, but they're locking down their properties out here now. And instead of just letting them sit dormant and using them for a couple of weeks or a month out of the year, they're offsetting some of the expenses with with some of the vacation rental stuff. Right.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. So I'm really interested in. You mentioned the iBuyer strategy and the whole open door thing and all that.
Yep.
So and you're actually getting you are getting some business somehow.
Yeah.
So what's going on?
Yeah, we're so. My business, to this day, the vast majority of my business is by referral, and that's always paid dividends for me. And through one of those referrals, I, got connected with some guys over at Open Door. It's kind of one of those that, depending on what side of the spectrum you're on, you either love them or hate them, right?
Yeah, sure.
So, but the way I look at it is, they're not just Open Door, but all these new entities that are coming to town. I mean, they're here to stay, and they're only growing, right? So, don't even want to misquote the stats, but I mean the amount of money that's going into real estate tech and these iBuyers is astronomical. I mean, less than a year ago, the valuation for Open Door was $1 billion, and I just read this week that. It's $2 billion, and they've almost doubled their new hires and doubled their office space. So they're not going anywhere. So like anything else, you could either try to fight it or figure out a way to adapt, right? And either work with them or either by selling properties or bringing them opportunities or trying to work strategic partnerships with entities like that.
Okay.
Now, is Open Door pretty open to working with any agent, or are they pretty picky with their agents?
So I can't speak on their behalf. And it was, a relatively, I wouldn't say rigorous, but there was definitely a screening process involved, and it wasn't just any agents. I don't know how open they are with as far as who they're, working with at this point. I know, some of the agents, they're, some bigger teams out there that they're working with. So. As of right now, I think it's kind of a little bit of an experiment for them, you know what I mean, to kind of like how they could integrate in the real estate community, because, when they first, came to town, it was not extremely well received in the real estate market, and to a certain degree, it still kind of is. So, but yeah, I mean, they're gaining market share. Mm-hmm. They're not a brokerage, and they make that crystal clear that they're not a brokerage. They're the way that they're set up and kind of their operations are a lot different than kind of what we do, and they understand that our value to that. So I think as that plays out, I think more and more opportunities will open up for other agents. Not just in our market, but outside markets, because they are in multiple markets. Mm-hmm. So it's.
There's certainly ways to work with them, and rather than being afraid of them, why not work with them? Because I've heard of a strategy of people making phone calls to for sale by owners, and or agents making phone calls, and they basically say, "Hey, I got a buyer for you." Right? It's going to be a lowball offer because it's Open Door, but of course we're not telling them that.
Sure.
And then if they decide, we'll go ahead and sell it for that price, well, we call Open Door, and you still get paid.
Yeah, and they'll pay commissions on properties that you bring to them.
Yeah,
it's kind of part of the deal. Obviously, they're in that, they're in acquisition mode, so they want to, have as many opportunities as possible, and kind of similar to what your point is. Besides the for sale by owner, I know a lot of agents, myself included, they use it as part of their listing presentation. So if they're going against other, other realtors, here's an opportunity for, cash buyer. You can kind of control the closing. Yep. Here's what that offer looks like. Here's if we go full retail, if we're going to put it on the market, might not need to add a little.
Why not start here?
Right.
Unless you're in a hurry, then we can go here.
Yeah, because, everybody, not everybody, but, most people think that, net sale is the number one motivator for sellers, and it generally is, but it's not always.
Not always,
a lot of times it's convenience,
right?
It's timing,
yep.
And then obviously bottom line. So depending on what the priority is for the seller, it would kind of dictate whether or not it's a good fit for them or not.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
do you see that they try to stay below a certain price point? I mean, is there a price point that they're like, I'm not going to really be?
Yeah, they've got a certain
is it
buy
like
box.
around 400 or
they'll go up
like
to
that?
500.
Okay.
I haven't really seen them. I mean, if you look at their inventory, I haven't seen them take down a whole lot of properties. I mean, they're kind of sweet spots in that kind of 2 to 3 range. I think They do a lot of stuff in Queen Creek, Santan Valley is a high concentration. Then the West Valley, Avondale, Goodyear, Buckeye. They've got what's called the buy box. As does. Help me out here, Brian Bear, the other group. OfferPad. Thanks. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's certain properties that they will and won't buy as far as age built, and if there's illegal permitted additions and solar panels and stuff like that. But I mean, I'd say the vast majority of the properties in Phoenix fit for what they're looking for.
All right. How about any tips you would give agents today that maybe their business is slowed a bit? What would you tell them? Hey, you need to go do this now.
So I think real estate is very unique in the sense that you basically, to a certain degree, have control over your destiny, right? Obviously, there's a lot of, there's certain factors that are outside of our control, but, I, to a certain degree, jokingly say, the harder I work, the luckier I get, right? Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of agents just kind of get in the wrong mindset at times, and like right now, it's everybody's like, that isn't in real estate. They're like, oh man, you must be loving it right now. It's great. And I'm like, I honestly hate markets like this. I legitimately do. It's kind of we're getting into a bloodbath market to a certain degree. Inventory's tight.
Yeah.
If you're working with buyers, especially depending on certain price point, it's rough.
Bidding
wars.
Yep.
If you're working listings and sellers, there's a lot of competition, and there's a lot of downward pressure on commissions right now, and not just because of the iBuyers.
I've noticed that.
Yeah.
2.5.
Yeah.
I even saw one yesterday at 225.
Yeah.
From the broker side.
Yeah. Exactly.
Crazy.
And so I think a lot of agents just kind of get frustrated and don't adapt. And I think part of it is trying to watch and track market trends and try to stay ahead of the curve. And when it gets tougher, you just got to grind that much harder. And it's tough, but the business is out there. You just got to fight for it. You just got to get it.
Yeah. That's right. Got to keep going.
Yep.
You
Cyclical.
ready? Oh,
anyway.
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
So you ready to get into the ring?
Let's do it.
All right. Here we go. How about the best advice that anyone's ever given you?
Best advice that anyone has ever given me. I think just don't take anything too seriously, and what I mean by that is, this is an extremely stressful job, especially the higher capacity you get, and just letting things, that you don't have control over,
No one's dying, right?
No one's dying, you know what I mean? And, if your phone's blowing up, the sun's still going to rise tomorrow.
That's right.
And, I think that's the secret to longevity in this business is just, not reaching that burnout and easier said than done. And I know that's something that I'm still working on, but, it's the reason why I'm still going. Yeah. Otherwise, I would have been done a long time ago.
So you're saying it's only real estate?
It's only real estate. Yeah, exactly.
All right. How about your favorite mobile app, if you have one?
Favorite mobile app? Well, I've got a couple. This is going to be a little bit of a security title plug. I know we're, one of the sponsors.
Alex will love you.
Alex will love me.
Brought you on.
Yeah, I use it all the time. The Security Agent 3.0
That's
app.
awesome, isn't it?
Great app.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
very professional.
Very professional, and you look like a stud. With your clients. You've been able to. On the fly run.
Tell them how much they're going to get, net sheets.
You got it.
And,
net sheets, buyer, running rough, mortgage assumptions, and on the spot being able to send them, the breakdown.
Beautiful PDFs, right?
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah, I love it.
That's cool. How about a book recommendation?
You know what? I actually have gotten a lot more into reading, just kind of staying up on real estate trends. So I read a lot of Inman and a lot of that sort of stuff. I haven't really dug into as many books lately, and I know that's going to sound pretty bad, but and I not just watching our market, but I like to watch the national market, because obviously kind of the ripple effect as far as what's happening here. I even set up Google notifications as far as certain keyword searches and that sort of thing. So every morning I wake up, I've in my inbox. Just kind of go through and do a quick read of recent articles, kind of real estate related, just to kind of stay on top of trends and keep my knowledge base sharp.
Yeah.
So are some of those words like housing bubble? No, I'm just teasing.
Yeah. Seen a lot more of those. Yep.
So a book that I would recommend to you,
love to,
especially to look at real estate trends, was written by Robert Shiller, who's a Case Shiller Home Price Index. Right. He's a professor at Yale of economics, won the Nobel Prize. He has a book called Irrational Exuberance.
Ooh.
It's a very deep econ type book.
Yeah.
But it's got he breaks down the stock market and real estate. It'll blow your mind.
I'll have to pick that up. Yeah.
All right.
Or I get for a while there I was getting into the audio books, and just finding time to sit down. As bad as it sounds, finding time to sit down and crack open a book. But when you've got these long treks and drives between appointments, just throwing on the audio book and kind of taking them down that way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
How about a productivity tool or software that you use on a regular
productivity
basis?
Tool or software?
Whether it's in real estate or
well, I live or die by my Google Calendar.
Yes.
For a long time I was sticky notes all over the place and just total train wreck in that sense, and most of us I think have integrated to Gmail. If you haven't, obviously there's similar calendars out there.
And there's,
but I mean day to day and setting the reminders, live or die by reminders and that sort of thing. And I mean that's what keeps me functioning. That's what got me here on time today. You know what I mean? So
okay.
But
calendar. If it's not on the calendar, it's not important.
It's not important, right? It's on the calendar. It's
Unless
generally stone. Yeah. Sometimes sandstone, but it's in stone usually. So.
Yeah. All right. One final question. We'll have you draw from.
Oh, be careful.
This is beautiful. What is that, velvet?
Whoa.
What is the most adventurous thing you have ever done?
Uh-oh.
Ooh. Let's see. Well, I've done a lot of traveling. Recently went scuba diving, and that that doesn't sound extremely adventurous, but I've grown up near the ocean, always done surf, fish, all this, and snorkeled since I was 5. Never went scuba diving, and we went to.
Pretty scary, isn't it?
It was scary, but it was awesome, and I took my son, and we went to Cozumel. So literally for our first time, we went probably one of the top 3 dive spots in the world.
Wow!
So that was pretty bitchin'. I'm going to be honest, and kind of got me excited and want to pursue it more and do a lot more of that. It was a blast.
It was like totally rad.
Totally rad. Yeah, exactly.
Whoa.
No, that's cool. No, that is adventurous. I want to do some scuba.
Yeah.
Did it take you a long time to get like the certification or whatever?
So we didn't go through and get the whole certification. We were staying at one of the resorts, and they do the basic kind of gear you up and do the practice and do the practical stuff and kind of all the safety stuff, and then gear you up and throw you in the pool where you're not going to drown, and if you do, they just grab you with the gaff, and yank you out.
Sure. And
then like, all right, great. So now you know how to not kill yourself. Let's go do some real diving, and then the next day you go out and
throw you in the ocean.
Throw you in the ocean. Yeah, exactly.
Have you seen that movie 47 Meters?
No.
Okay.
Is that good?
Probably shouldn't.
That you shouldn't. You didn't watch it before you went scuba.
That's a
it's
shark
the one
one,
about
right?
the two ladies in the cage.
Yeah,
and it breaks and falls down.
Yeah. I'm gonna pass out on that one. That was probably like the same torment after seeing Jaws in the '80s, and you know what I mean.
Yeah, I remember
everything
that.
brushes against your leg in the ocean.
Scary.
You're just about ready to jump out of the water. Yeah,
no, that's totally cool. Hey, Jonas, if any of the agents that are watching or listening, if they want to reach out to you directly, how would they do that?
Sure. Well, best way would probably be by email. Jonas, Jonax, at epicphoenix.com, and that's spelled EPICPHX.com. Jonas at epicphoenix.com.
All right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for being on.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me, guys.
Alex, thanks again.
Yeah, had a great time.
It's been a lot of fun. All right, guys, until next time, is Jeff Underwood.
And Joey Sampaga.
We are the Real Estate Marketing Maniacs, coming to you from Security Title Studio. See you later.
See ya.
Awesome. Good job.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Great stuff. Great stuff.
Was it an email address?